Sol, Victoria, Daniel, great to be speaking with you all today. And all at the same time, how's your day going?
Pretty great.
Good.
Thank
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you. And how's your day so
Oh,
far?
well, hey, you asked first. So far, so great as far as I know. New York, it's not so cold today, but we'll throw the first one at Daniel. When did the film actually get finished? Because sometimes you hear about temp music or waiting for extra stuff to happen. So when did it actually get wrapped?
I mean, finished like in the last few months. Like we were still tweaking the sound up until like may have even been September, October. We were still playing around with a couple things with the sound, which is kind of nuts considering the first shots were rolled into 2017. So it's been a long journey. So
I can
yeah.
imagine. And then
Yeah.
PR and festival circuit,
Mm-hmm.
it's a way to turn a film into a 3 to 4 year process. But to us, it's a new film. So congratulations on the new film. And
Thank you.
Sol, the first time I ever saw you was Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and I had no idea that there were those acting chops because we saw you mostly speaking in Spanish, we saw you being funny, and this is some real drama and real acting. How much prep was needed for this role?
I love it. And real acting. um, as I was saying earlier, in one of the interviews, I actually, since the beginning of my time on this planet, feeling like I was going to become an actor, I always was very dramatic. And even at school, the plays, one of my first roles was playing the dead, right? Or death, right? So it was, I think as we grow older, I mean, I've always been funny among my friends, but I was not thought as a comedic actor. And I have to say, it was not until after turning 40 that I was like, oh, come on, let's welcome this part of me in my acting world, I guess. And I think when I allowed that to happen, auditions started coming to do comedy, and I love it. I want to keep doing comedy, and but I also love to go into roles that dig into dark and more dramatic layers, as Daniel wrote so well.
Well, not to leave you out, Victoria, thank you for taking the time as well. For you, how much prep was needed for this role? Because like I was saying to Sol, this is some heavy duty acting. This is not just cutaway shots and all that. This is real emotion.
How much prep? Well, I know that I had a lot of legalese to know, so I had to look those up so I got a grasp on what I was actually saying, so I understood it. But we were saying earlier that Daniel just wrote the scenes out and fleshed them out, so we really did understand what was needed of us. And I think just going into that space of really understanding what we're reading and emotions that need to be portrayed, and just coming to set and dancing.
And dance. Daniel, throwing this to you here. A lot of times the screenwriter does not want to be the director and vice versa. Did you know when you were writing that you also wanted to direct?
Yeah, I think ultimately directing is honestly, like writing, I think is the thing that I'm more naturally given to. But I find it, honestly, it's a little lonely. So, and I'm always imagining what it would be if I can make it. And so I think ultimately I'd be happy to direct someone else's script or one of my scripts, I'd be happy to have someone else direct it. But with this one in particular, it was always written for Sol and for Victoria. And so there was no consideration whatsoever other than that I was writing it thinking about buildings that I would like. Every location was, we were able to get donated, and I was writing it thinking about where these people would be and where I can envision, like Victoria, I was envisioning in like a really those hotels in downtown Brooklyn where there's lights going everywhere. And like, yeah, so that's all to say that it was from the beginning. I knew I absolutely wanted to see them in the frame and direct it.
Speaking of the lights going everywhere, Victoria, you are a member of the DC universe. Whether or not you want that to be known as your primary thing, does that impact your life in any way, being associated with Batman properties so prominently?
I'm proud of it. I think it's a gift to have been able to play Renee Montoya, who's the first openly gay Latina character. So for me, anything that comes from that, of being recognized from that, is really just an honor. Yeah, and Batman was my favorite when I was growing up. So yeah, it's an honor for me. Yeah.
Sol, how did you first know Daniel? Because he mentioned it was basically written for you. When did you, and how did you first encounter Daniel?
I auditioned for Daniel's first feature, Jack, Jules, Esther, and Me, which actually will be on VOD on January 24th.
It's being re-released. Yep, January 24th. Yep.
Which I am so excited for him and for this first feature of his. So I auditioned for the mother of the lead character, this young Latino graduating from high school, who is working class Latino, but he goes to a prep school. He's a scholarship student. So you see the inequalities between him and the rest of his friends, and also the girl he's in love with, and how that last weekend before going to college, is he going to, like, you know, do it? Is he going to reach to her? Is something going to happen or not? Are we equal here? Are you truly my friend? So watch that, please. So yeah, I auditioned for Daniel. I think it was sometime in the spring of 2011.
2011.
Wow.
Yeah, 2011. And actually, when we premiered at the Peekskill Film Festival, I live in Peekskill, New York, 1 hour north, and it's a very artistic, vibrant community. And it was 11 years to the day when we premiered at the festival there, here. Yeah, 11 years since Jack, Jules, Esther, and Me. So I auditioned for Daniel, and the rest is history. And I'm so happy and blessed for this relationship and collaboration. You know, it's truly at this point very honest, collaborative relationship. We can talk with each other and not be afraid.
Glad to hear that. Well, I'm looking forward to all three of your next projects. Glad that you're such wonderful collaborators, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Darren.
Paltrocast.